some kind of unity for anybody to become a power player.
You gotta have a mob, bro. In Chicago, you gotta have. You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting in with me is former Cook County Board President Todd Strojic. We're taking your calls. Give us a call, 773-591-1690. Social media question of the day. Have you ever told on someone or been told on? Todd, you ever told on somebody? Don't lie.
I'm sure I told on somebody at some point, but it probably had something to do with Sister Mary Catherine or somebody like that pressuring me.
They was pressuring you.
Oh boy, those nuns, they can get you. Once they get you in that corner.
So what you think they do when it's the feds, man?
Oh, I know what they do. They put the type of pressure on you, and not by my own circumstance, but people told me what they do is they bring you in, they say we want something out of you, or we know you did something, and then they start talking about your family. So now they're like, we know who your brother is. We know
that sounds like the mob, man.
We know what your uncle does. What he did is illegal. He can get 5 years. And so they put pressure on you that way by saying that we can take your family to court. And going to court is expensive because if you have to hire an attorney, we're starting with $50,000.
Okay, so just as a out of a matter of personal experience, there was the time during the Blagojevich era, and I was questioned by the FBI.
And you don't want to be by yourself when they ask you questions.
When the door comes and then when it's the FBI, you get shook no matter what. You like, man. And they don't crack us. You know how you think you could break somebody and give them the crack a smile? No sir. They be the glasses. We'd like to see you. And then you got a choice. You got a choice of either you gonna do what they tell you or you gonna go to jail. And even if you make the slightest misstep, they will body slam you.
Yes.
So the first thing you do is you go get a lawyer, and the lawyers be like, "Oh, you got a federal case?" Let me tell you, just to consider this case, just to not to go to court, just to go get a proffer, just to call them back and to go sit with you during the question, $10,000, $10,000, and then Todd, they ask you, they come out with like a page, like 20 pages of questions, and it's like 100. Then they ask them in reverse. Then they ask them sideways. Then they ask them upside down. Yeah. Same question. And you be like, hold on. And your lawyer be like, look, do not lie to the feds, ever. So this is what I want all of my good friends to think about. That dude that you knew and you saw, I say, oh no, it can't happen to me. Think about your boy. Think about how many people talk to Danny Solis as the zoning committee chairman.
Oh, man.
If he was shopping for you, now, fortunately for a lot of black folks, they ain't got that much zoning work going on. So black folks straight, because it ain't got enough business. But if you one of them people got one of them big old guys, I'm just telling you. And I'm at 7 in the 7:20 hour, 7:20. I'm going to break down how the cycle goes, how they chop up the money to make sure everybody eats. Because, see, they got a cycle that makes everybody eat. But before I go, let me take this call from Brother Hall. Brother Hall, you on Talk Chicago 1690.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Good morning to you and your guest, man.
Good morning.
Let me just say, I don't know if I said it on your show or Dorothy's show. I said that you don't step down from that type of power and say I'm retiring as the zoning chair or the automatic piece. We knew that, and I appreciate the things that you're bringing forward. But let me also say this, Maze. He was partners back then, and I'm sure Todd knew what I'm talking about. Does the name Ambrosio Mendrano ring a bell.
Man, yep. Ambrosio Mandrano said, "I'm no snitch." He back in jail right now for not snitching.
Absolutely. So you got to connect all of them together. Remember now, Chewy, Ambrosio, what's the little boy that just beat up his wife?
Munoz.
Oh, Munoz. All of these, and Solis, all of them was partners at first, man. They come up off of 226, all right? And because Gutierrez came out of the Puerto Rican piece, I remember when he was driving a cab. So what I'm saying, man, is when these guys came in power, they went to the big purse. Now, you don't zone, and here's the big purse as far as I'm concerned. Finance, the next to finance is zoning.
Budget.
Pardon?
Budget.
Well, budget used to be in finance. Budget was given to, they created budget when Mayor Washington came in the play. But remember, budget and finance was all one. They did that and gave it to Larry Bloom during the time up under Mayor Harold Washington.
Brother Hall, I actually agree with you because zoning deals with the outside world, and there's a lot more money in the outside world than there is in the government.
Absolutely.
Dang, okay, I learned.
Finish right quick. You don't leave out rules, which Dick Mell used to be the head of chair of that. So, see, we go for the little stuff. They go for the big stuff, as you said, about banks and that type of thing, man. It's a lot of heads going wrong.
I gotta stop you, brother Hall. It's the Top of Chicago 1690 News, Traffic, and Weather is next.
The talk of Chicago and the voice of the nation is 1690.
Los Angeles and Denver.
Y'all, I mean, I'm just saying we should take a field trip to City Hall. I think I might just have to go just to look, just to see how everybody is gonna act, and probably everybody is gonna be stone faced. The place to be today,
Yes.
today the place to be is in the chambers, and actually probably ain't even in the chambers, because if I would stay out the chambers. I wouldn't even be in the chambers because I wouldn't let them corner me. You wouldn't catch me back there because there's nothing anybody can say good. Because if you say something bad about The Wire, then your opponent is gonna be like, they want to protect corruption. If you got a opponent that has the ability to get the message out.
Yep, that's why I'm not going.
You could go and be like, glad they, or be like, and to think, you all spent all that time on me, over a half a penny, and look at all of this corruption that you ignored for 50 years. Will you cover it the same? Will you stay outside of his house? Like, I feel like it's moments like that.
It's funny you say that, because you know, whenever a story came out, anything, the penny, if I was on the cover of anything, I would go home, there would be a van from a news station parked at the end of the block, waiting for me so they could hop out and try to, do that, hey, what do you think about what happened today? They said that something happened in the county. So I would always go in through the back door. I just went through the alley all the time. You're right. The coverage that they would give, this is what I say, I'm just another black man, that they'd give a black man was totally different from what they do with the majority. They don't try to sneak attack them too often, but it can be tough. And I know, Bert's got a lot of people around him to protect him from that kind of stuff as much as possible. But it's like you said, you can't lie to the feds because, shoot, don't most of these people who get time, they get time for not telling the truth.
Right, most of the time is when you try to be slick.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, your lawyer be like, you ain't got no friends.
Actually, I did the same thing you did.
I had a proffer. Fortunately, I didn't do anything.
Well, yeah, same thing. They had a case against, they were looking at filing a case against Pareka, and they asked me to come in and talk about some person. And I said, okay. I might have been a little arrogant at the time. And I was like, all right, I didn't bring a lawyer because it wasn't about me.
Man.
But I was there, and there were like 4 different attorneys. And they said, you mind if she asked you a few questions? I said, all right. So he's asking me questions, then she'll ask me a question. It was just like you. She asked me 10 questions, then she asked me the same 10 questions, but in a different sequence. And, after a while, I was like, her questions are about my life. His about Pareka's case. She's trying to figure out if she can get a case so she can send me to jail. I mean, I was like, I'm not answering your questions anymore. Yeah. You know, you're a big prize no matter what prosecutor it is. If they can get anyone who's elected to office, they're going to do everything they can to do it. Yeah.
Which is why you got to think Ed Burke, for all these years and all this stuff, he been giving up people. I heard he was the one who gave up everybody on Greylord.
Well, you know, Burke always said he has no bones in saying that he has cooperated with the federal government. He has a relationship with them.
I heard that he used to be at the Christmas party. Like, he was one of the most lively people at the Christmas party.
Oh, I remember him saying that his name is somewhere in the federal building. And he wouldn't say why, but he's like, yeah, I mean, it was a proud fact. So yeah, you're probably right. Tough when they got the guns on you, though.
It is The Departed. I'm telling you, Whitey Bulger, baby. Whitey Bulger. Straight up.
That's the wrong movie. That's okay.
Black, what is it? Black Mass?
Black Mass, right? Yeah. So now you're in my bailiwick. Entertainment. Well, movies.
Movies.
Yeah. I know you're entertainment. I can't fool you with something.
Who's rocking with us today? What up, Vern? What up, Daryl Stiff? What up, Salim Wakil? What up, Carol Zwiazek? What up, Tiger Lily? What up, Daryl Stiff? Man, if Patrick Fitzgerald was here, this would already be done, yo.
Patrick Fitzgerald.
That mug.
Yeah, but with that, didn't you think Patrick Fitzgerald overstepped his bounds when he blasted Blagojevich before they even had a case?
Say that again?
Don't you remember Patrick Fitzgerald got on TV and said, Rod Blagojevich is no good, in essence.
Mm.
But they didn't put a case against him yet.
Right.
I thought that was kind of crappy, though. That was more personal, which I thought the whole case turned out.
I mean, I feel like Rod Blagojevich stuck it in their eye, and they was like, I felt like Patrick Fitzgerald felt like he was taking on the defense of his, like I felt like he did feel like he was personally offended. And I never forget when Rod was like, bring it on. They brought it on.
Rod had a big head. I don't know, I'm surprised he got in the room sometimes.
Okay. I'm only doing Amisha for one segment because I'm going to Burke right after this. Hey man, I'ma tell y'all. So just about a month ago, I was telling a friend. Y'all remember I told y'all I was out at a meeting, at a client meeting, and I saw the Latino caucus, and they had all of the liquor license attorneys coming in and the zoning attorneys coming in, and it was. I'ma tell you like this. I think Brendan Riley has a problem. I think George Cardenas has a problem. There's one more I think got a problem.
Brendan Riley was against me like nobody's business, so I'm all right with that.
Huh?
He was against me like nobody.
Brendan Riley finna. I hear Brendan Riley got a real problem. A real problem. I heard his could come this week.
Oh, you mean a real problem?
That I'm talking about a real one.
Oh, really? I wish I don't know, man.
Would you make me feel your best? I'm going out of my way to make sure you have everything, girl. be the one who will always be there to give you. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting in with me, as he will be all week, it is former Cook County Board President Ty Stroger. Now, Ty, you know at the top of the hour, I got to say what's up to the WVON Morning Show team. What's up to Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, as well as Miss Sonia Escobar. She is the musical conductor of the Soul Plane. Now, yesterday I got so caught up in them tapes that we didn't really... First of all, let me start here. Let me start by apologizing for Monday. Because I got so caught up in all of the people, places, and things that were happening at the King Breakfast that we never came back to our D.C. correspondent, Amisha Cross. So let me start by apologizing, but saying, you know what? This is a much better environment, and I'm looking forward to talking to her. Amisha Cross is here to talk to us today about Kamala Harris declaring that she's running for president. Amisha, what's going on? Talk to me. How you feeling? And you know what? I hear congratulations are in order. You big time. Don't forget the little people. What is it? You tell us a little bit about what we heard about what's going on with you, because I'm so proud of that. And then tell us your thoughts on Kamala or Kamala Harris, depending on if she Indian or black, because I'm still not sure yet. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. What's going on, Amisha?
On a breakfast well done. I have recently accepted a political commentary position with Claire Broadcast Group, so I will be offering the liberal perspective to a lot of their different segments of media. So it'll be aired on stations across the country, and it's a really exciting opportunity.
We are super proud of you, Amisha, and I'm going to tell you, just because we on radio, don't you forget the little people. And wait a minute, did you say the liberal point of view? Do they know you? You're like, shh, don't mess it up. Hey, so Amisha, talk to me about this Kamala. You know, I think she Kamala when she in Compton, but when she get on that plane, she's Kamala. Talk to us about this historic presidential run. Or is it really historic? Because hasn't a black woman run for president before?
Absolutely. So she is actually, first of all, she's the second black woman to have actually been in the Senate. She also is not the first black woman to have run for president. So it's not a landmark in that sense. However, considering that we now have a Congress that is built off of many women, we just had in the midterms the most women that we've ever had voting in the electorate come out in large numbers and issue in a Congress of women and people of color at numbers that we've never seen before. This sets up a dichotomy for Senator Harris that is very different than what we've seen in the past. What makes her an interesting and unique candidate is her background, which for better or worse, I think we'll get into that as well. The fact that she comes from a family of two immigrants, the fact that she is biracial, with the Jamaican father and the Indian mother.
Hold it. Because see, that's where y'all get tricky. Jamaican father, I've been to Jamaica. I'm going to tell you, when you go to the liquor store, there are Indian Jamaicans. And I don't know if I'm just sure if I seen a black person that equals two black people yet. I'm not sure about that yet.
I think that at this point, a lot of people within the black community are claiming anything that might look black as a win. And the interesting thing about this is that Senator Harris very rarely, if ever, actually constructs herself as a black woman. For the most part, she has always fallen back on her heritage from both sides. In addition to regarding herself as an American, more so than anything else, she actually makes this a clarifying point in literally every interview she ever does. So I think that is something that we need to take into context as well.
You know, well, I'm gonna just tell you, when everybody started talking about American, I sure ain't heard nobody say black yet. I'm just saying, and I'm telling you, like, when people start saying African American, remember this, Barack Obama and kid. I'm not trying to be a birther. I am a blacker. I'm not a birther, but I am a blacker, and I'm still not convinced that she is black. But I'm gonna let that be. And I love the fact that she is married to a white man. That makes it even better that we are taking all of this to the black thing. But now tell me about what really does this mean, and does she have a real chance of winning?
So because of her background, and it's interesting you brought up the birtherism because it actually came up this week, as recently as yesterday. There are people, including Chris Cuomo, who actually stated on CNN and then kind of tried to backtrack it, questioning her heritage and her right to actually run. Be it clear, she was born in California. She is legally eligible to run as for president in this country. Her parents, however, when they arrived here in 5 years prior to her birth, were not legal citizens. So I think that for some people, that's a little stickler for them. Again, has absolutely nothing to do with her candidacy. In regards to her or her efficacy as a candidate, there are a lot of things that I think people should think about very intently when considering Kamala Harris. Yes, she's a black woman. Yes, she's a strong advocate for many issues. But her advocacy, particularly in criminal justice reform, is something that I take honors with, and I think that it's something that particularly black people, looking at the effects that it has had on our community, need to really take into consideration. As a prosecutor in California, she stayed silent on police brutality in general. It was something that she did not want to pursue. It was something that she refused to stand up against. And it was something that she actually opposed measures that had been approved of from the electorate. She pushed very hard against having investigations against officers who had been accused of police brutality. In 2014,
Go ahead.
In 2014, she also decided to stay silent on police officers who were accused of taking drugs. Police lab technicians accused of taking drugs that have been confiscated from different activities, illegal activities. It was something that she didn't see worthy of actually going after. That same year, she decided that she was not going to support the use of medical marijuana at all. It made it a very strong campaign point for herself. And she also, in 2014, as AG, she opposed the release of nonviolent inmates. And not only did she oppose wrongly, she opposed it with the caveat of where would the money come from if you let them out. I think it's a very thing to acknowledge the fact that she may have bent the curve as a senator. She does not have a history of being progressive or even understanding, in many cases, what we would consider the plight of the African-American community when it comes to criminal justice.
That's cause she. Yeah, I'm not a birther. I'm a blacker, and I'm telling you, I just think like there's a particular insensitivity, and I'm gonna tell you this whole overwhelming push for immigrate. Like when what I remember Kamala Harris the most about is fighting for immigration reform, and not that it's a problem because she's from California, but again, while we wrapping our black arms around us, have we really looked at her and looked at her background? Like, I'm going to tell you, she takes a great picture. She really does. And when she walks on the stage and the lights come on and she got the white and, she's flowing and she gives the speech, it is a beautiful thing, and I am not lying. But has anybody, I promise you, I remember seeing her at the presidential, when we were in Charlotte, and when she hit the stage, I was like, dang.
Really?
She's going to, you see people that got that pop where the white folks be like, ooh, we can work with that.
Yeah.
But when you look under the hood, what does the record prove? And I think we need to just be careful, guys, because how many people are still mad about what happened with Amazing Grace, right? How many people are still, when the forest fires go and they make the workers go work out there, the prisoners go out there and work in the fires and toil for 10 cents an hour, and then tell them they can't work in that same industry. Where was she when that happened? Where was she when our brothers were doing our thing? And so, Amisha, first of all, I appreciate you bringing that up to us, because you know what I don't want to have happen? This. We don't need that in a higher pitch. We need somebody that's going to fight for us. So if we're going to wrap our arms around somebody about being a black woman, that black woman better wrap her arms around us. Amisha Cross, I'm so proud of you. And I'm going to tell you what, you make sure you let us know how we get it, because we want to watch, share, support. Tell everybody how they can find you.
Absolutely. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Amisha Cross. Also, the press release comes out, and the Wall Street Journal interview as well today. So you guys will also get a peek at what lies ahead.
Well, why don't you do me a favor, share that with me once you get it, and then I'll put it out there today too. Hey, it's Amisha Cross. We'll be back, and when we come back, y'all, get your pens and papers, because I'm finna break this bird thing down. It's Talk Chicago 1690.
More of the morning show with Maze Jackson coming up on the Talk of Chicago 1690.
You got it, Todd.
Man, I didn't know anything about it. I just learned some things about Miss Harris.
Look, I'm telling you. Show me a picture of her daddy.
Well, it's interesting that both her parents are well educated. Her mother's like a cancer scientist.
Right, but look at her.
You mean her?
Look at her mama. And I'm just telling you, when you look at Kamala Harris real close, do y'all remember the movie Mississippi Masala? Right? So, and I'm going to tell you. Well, I ain't going to tell you the joke. There's a lot of jokes I could tell in there. But I'm telling you, I know Indian girls that have played black. Right? They play like light-skinned black girls. I'm telling you, that girl ain't black. She ain't black.
Man, it's hard. It's hard.
Look at her up close in a zoom-in picture. She is not black. She is Indian that can pass as black. But I'm telling you, we just be thinking that's cool. She don't like you.
She does look like some people I know, but it's right. She does definitely Indian. Here it says, though, that she supports recreational marijuana. She's got some definitely kind of socialist democratic ideas. I need just a little more music. Yeah, yes. My son just asked me about this presidential race. And I told him people are jumping in left and right. Now you got to start reading up on them. Because most of us don't know anything about anybody. Like, I don't know anything about her. Now, everybody knows Joe Biden, but I think there's been 3 other people who have announced. I don't know any of them. He's back. I will say she's got some interesting ideas, like Medicare for everybody. You know, Medicare is what you get when you get a certain age. And I'm on the board of a hospital. Let me tell you, Medicare not only pays a little better than Medicaid, they pay on time or close to on time, unlike Medicaid. She's about my age. Unless you're young. I thought she was younger than she actually is, but she's about my age. She does definitely look Indian.
I'm telling you, she ain't black. She is not black, bro. And it's like, the whole fact that they don't ever say, the whole fact that Jamaican is a disguise, right? It is a mask so that you don't have to say black. I mean, so that when you say Jamaican, what's your instant thought?
A very dark man.
A very black. Now, when you go to that picture and then you put if you say Kamala Harris, right?
Right.
Then you think black. But if you look at all the Indian publications, and she's pushing all of that down on social media, but if you look at all the Indian publications, they celebrate her as being one of the first Indians ever elected to Congress. I mean, to the, I'm telling you.
No, I'm not surprised.
And you know Indians ain't letting they kids marry no black man. They not. When you seen a black and an Indian together? Really? Really?
Okay, I got that.
When have you seen, man? Y'all don't want me to talk about
I
it.
ran into an Indian guy I know.
Did he have a black wife?
No.
Right.
You got a point. I just don't know of anybody like that.
I'm not saying there aren't any. There's probably somebody in Bolingbrook. No, I'm saying like I think that
Well, you know Brooke Bear now, so.
well, I'm saying like it's rare that you see Indians or Arabs with black men. Like interracial dating.
Right.
You very rarely see that. That's because they'll chop their head off though. Right? They will stone you. Like your family will cut you off. The Arabians would put you in a bag and take you back to Saudi Arabia and put you in a hijab. Her mom ain't black. Her mom is straight Indian. Sorry. You better look it up. You got the camera. Her father is not black. He's Jamaican. Go ahead.
Hey, you know, that Frank Sinatra is great, and I can always imagine my wife and myself dancing like Fred and Ginger, swirling across the floor, her with a big old gown.
And you know, and I could always think of me and my wife and Jay and Beyonce when we listen to it, and we'd be like, if you, you're cool, if you. That's what I be thinking about, and I be thinking like, I can't wait till one day when the president and I can go to one of those fancy gala balls, right?
Yes.
But we could go and be like J and B.
You're cool.
You're cool.
And then, you know, one day I want to be able. You think one day when I go to one of these fancy things with the president, I'm gonna get to wear one of my Dookie gold chains, right? And I'm gonna come to the gala with my tux and a big old chain and some gold fronts, and I'm gonna be like,
Now, that's the problem with the 90s, right there.
No. But look, speaking of the 90s, one of my favorite movies of all time was The Goodfellas. I think it was a more, you know, The Godfather was a classic gangster pick. Like, it was the glamorous gangster pick. I feel like Goodfellas was more of the gritty, like, common man gangster flick. And it had some Chicago ties to it. Where it took the shine off of some of the, you know, Michael Corleone was always suave and smooth. This was like dirty gangsters with a loudmouth wife who were talking, what are you doing, Henry?
Yes. And they were cruel, and you could see it right there.
Right. Man, but let me tell you, there's a really good part of the movie that I think, Sonia, it encapsulates where we are right now in Chicago. Sonia, can you play that clip for me?
Oh, no, not that one?
Not that one.
Okay.
Get your shine box. Come on, Sonia, play that clip for me.
People call them rats because a rat will do anything to survive. Isn't that right, Mr. Hill?
Objection. Objection sustained.
Look, I don't know nothing about being a rat.
Mr. Hill, you know everything about being a rat.
Objection, Your Honor. In view of the violence,
Didn't matter. Didn't mean anything. When I was broke, I would go out and rob some more. We ran everything. We paid off cops, we paid off lawyers, we paid off judges. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. And now it's all over.
Sounds familiar. In case you don't know, 25th Ward Alderman and Zoning Committee Chairman Danny Solis was just exposed to have been wearing a wire for the last 2 years. Now, before we get into it in the web of craziness this does, and I might have to do a special live on this because I don't think I'm gonna have time to get to all of it. Mm-hmm. Todd, first of all, tell me what happens when someone wears a wire in a place like City Hall. What happens? Or is suspected or found out of wearing a wire. What happens?
They are a pariah. No one will go near them anymore. Even when Jesse Jr. was in trouble, I was going to Congress, to lobby for stuff, and I talked to Jesse. We had a great conversation, and I left, and the congressman next to us, my lobbyist introduced me, and he was from Missouri, and he says, "You didn't talk to his car, did you?"
So
you become in a sense, you're a joke at this point because no one will speak to you about anything of any significance.
But now think about this. What does it mean when the chairman of the zoning committee has been caught wearing or has been exposed for wearing a wire for 2 years? What does it mean for the colleagues?
Everybody is thinking, damn, what did I say to that guy? Did I say anything that might get me in trouble? Everyone's wondering if they may have said something that might put them in harm.
So
as we said earlier, it doesn't matter if you meant to break a law. If you broke one, they can come after you.
So generally when somebody is wearing a wire, it's not out of altruism. It's not because they just all of a sudden decided they woke up one day and wanted to be a rat.
I would guess that Danny Solis has a family member who get caught up by the feds. And they said, we're not going to do that, but you will work for us.
So it's interesting that you would bring that up because Danny Solis has a family member, Patty Solis, who's pretty big time in D.C. Susanna Mendoza was actually on her way to go out there and have a fundraiser with her. But I'm going to go backwards because I really want to start by talking about the impact of Danny Solis wearing a wire for 2 years. So according to the Chicago Sun-Times, but I do want to point this out, and I want to take a moment to address some of my Latino friends who called me up yesterday telling me stay out of their business. You should have listened to me first because I told you what was happening, and you got mad at me telling me stay out your business.
I've been telling you your whole life. Don't talk on the phone, right? Now you understand? Huh?
I tried to tell y'all. And I think what happened is things started moving fast. So yesterday, probably at about 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, I said, be on the lookout because I think some federal indictments are coming down. Now, Danny Solis wearing a wire. Now, my sources have told me that there's probably going to be somewhere in the area of 10 indictments, 10 people brought up on charges.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people, and that's just the beginning. But if you think about the people, so let me break down who should be worried first. First, who should be worried are the people who were recorded on those calls talking to Ed Burke ad nauseum all the time. Did I run past my break? All right, look, we're going to talk about the rest of them when we come back after traffic news and the weather. I'm sorry.
A Latino vote, specifically a Mexican vote, and take down some significant power bases like Ed Burke. And I'm on board with that.
So you all need to understand that the way the game works is Ed Burke would assign you a lobbyist. That lobbyist would then tell you that if you wanted to get your project through the zoning committee, they could help you, but here's the steps you have to take. They wouldn't say you have to get a property tax attorney. They would say you have to hire that property tax attorney, Ed Burks. Now, there are a lot of people who could get it done, but he would charge you a premium to get it done, right? And as the Ed Burke lobbyist, you commanded an exorbitant fee. So like the average lobbyist might get paid $2,000 to $5,000 a month on a project at the city level. If you were an Ed Burke lobbyist, you got paid $15,000 a month on the project. Real talk.
That's real money.
A month. Now, that lobbyist would then take $15,000 a month. He would then tell you you need to hire a law firm, right? So if you pay attention to the Burke lobbyists, they always won because if they couldn't get the lobbying contract, Burke would say, okay, you don't get the lobbying contract, but if you have a law firm, I'll give you the legal work. So now what they do is they look at you as a total package and they say, Mexican dude from the north side with that thinks he's slick. You are going to go talk to them and you're going to go be him. He walks into the door and tells you, I'm about to be your lobbyist, and if you don't hire me, you can expect that nothing will happen else for you in the city. Right? And would go to clients and be just like that. So now you would pray that you never got picked, but like they didn't target you. Like most companies be like, God, please, don't make me. But they only went after the big fish.
You gotta real size.
So now, slick dude from up north says, okay, law firm, this is a multi-billion-dollar project. I can knock the property taxes on this down by $10 million. I want $3 million of the $10 million that I get. So now the law firm gets $3 million worth of business. Then they then they say, okay, you go see this guy over here that's got a law firm on whatchamajigam. Now, this law firm that ain't no real big time law firm, but because they plug to Burke, right, they get to charge you $500 an hour instead of what they would normally get paid of $200 an hour, and you pay it because now they got you. Then, so now the lobby and the legal work, the property tax, then zoning, right? So now what you got to do is you got to go look at, so then Burke says, I'll raise, or the attorney or the property tax attorney, the lawyer, or the lobbyist then raises funds for Danny Solis to fill up his coffers, the same way they did with Tony Preckwinkle, right? So now they take that company and say that company is good to raise $50,000 a year. So they go, now they start calling people they want to influence, like a Susanna, right? So then they say, okay, you got to raise $50,000 for Susanna. I gave you this much business, so you got to go tell all them companies they each got to bring me $10,000. And if you're a Burke lobbyist, then ain't nobody going to tell you no. And you actually operate at a higher level than regular aldermen. Like, if you look at Tim Dart, he only person he talked to in city council, Ed Burke. You look at his list of clients. Think about looking at that list of clients and everybody making they paying you between $25,000 and $10,000 a month. Right. And you got 30 of them.
Right.
And then they picked this Mexican kid from up north because you old friends with Dick Mel, take care of one of my kids. And so now you got this Mexican kid who ain't worked on nobody's campaign, but now he billing up $1.5 million a year.
Oh, really?
You know what I'm talking about? 1.5, he's billing 1.5 million a year. Bro, I've seen him come into meetings with companies and be like, if they say, man, you ain't did nothing, if you don't get this done, if you let me go regardless of my outcomes, I will make it where you will not get anything else in this city.
You got that juice, huh?
Once you see, all you gotta do is show up and be standing next to dude, and everybody who knows.
Right.
You know if dude and them come to you, you already know what time it is. Man, please. They have... And it's like we're closed out of the loop.
Yeah, because...
Think about
I've been around a long time. I don't know half of the things you're talking about.
Think about this. Think about when you hire his law firm, he comes in and tells you who gets all the contracts. So say like if you're a company that he got as the law firm and you represent him, he'll walk into your meeting and say, oh, by the way, you need all new office furniture, hire him. And you know if you don't do it, you shut out.
Yeah.
And now these guys come to you, and they don't come to you with a reasonable price.
Right.
They come to you with the highest price for the cheapest that they can buy, and you really ain't got no choice. Because straight up, dude will be like, bro, they control vertically they control everything. So once they get in you, then everybody that's got a business is eating off of you.
Right.
They bleed you. I remember on the Sopranos when they got the guy with the
Restaurant.
not the restaurant, the sporting goods store.
I can't remember that. Was it like a restaurant?
Got myself a gun. Alvin is legal because they wrote the laws. If you write the laws, you write the laws so you don't go to jail, damn it. They legislate their wealth. You don't hear me when I tell you that? This is legislated wealth. And then they come in our neighborhood and do the same thing. So when you hear Tony Preckwinkle giving up our stuff to them, it's because they want to control vertically integrated. They know how to feed their people. Myself a gun. You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting in with me is former Cook County Board President Todd Stroger. Todd.
Yes, sir.
So, Ed Burke seems to be the gift that just keeps on giving. We found out today that
this is what happens when a man has too many friends, right?
Too many friends and too much money. Sometimes, do you think it's arrogance? Do you think it's greed? Do you think like at some point you just be like, I am untouchable? I tell people all the time that white folks legislate their wealth.
Right.
Everybody is now asking on social media, how come he ain't in jail? How come he ain't prosecuted? Because guys, usually they write the laws to make sure that they don't go to jail. So when you hear the story of Ed Burke recusing himself every 3 times a month,
right, from
2 city council meetings, it's so that he don't break the law. You see it? And he knows the rules and he works the rules. Now he's been working the rules for 40 years, and what he probably did was drop his guard because of his long-term knowledge of Danny Solis. And I'm gonna tell you, probably the worst thing you could do in the city council to your colleagues is rock a wire.
Oh yeah.
And to think
you may say something stupid just being stupid.
Just right.
You know, and then you don't want that to go to the feds and they're like, hey, we can make something of this.
So now, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that the Latino caucus has got a problem. No shade. I think they got a problem because the dean of the Latino caucus has been rocking the wire for 2 years. Now, I'm going to tell you, I saw the Latino caucus with some of the people that are being implicated in this thing, including Danny Solis, at the Lobbyist Restaurant Extraordinaire, Chicago Cut. And I was sitting there watching one day, and I was like, boy, it was right after the Latino leadership pack got launched, and it was the zoning committee, and it was interesting because I felt as though I was watching people being told it's time to bow down and pay tribute. Mm-hmm. Now, let me just be clear. If you were sitting at that table and you were that attorney, you on the tape, dog. If you were those aldermen sitting at the table, you were on the tape. Now you got to ask yourself, who was cooperating? Because now...
Well, I don't know much about wires. My question is, when you're wearing a wire, do you wear it everywhere you go? Or for Danny, who it appears this doesn't have a case himself, does he wear it everywhere he goes? Or does he wear it only for things that deal with the alderman Burke?
Let me ask you a question. When you fishing, right? When you fishing, you might be bass fishing. But if you throw your rod in the water, and you wind up with a large, giant tiger muskie, you're keeping it.
Right.
Now, depending on who's in trouble, then you trying to pile up the chits to prove your worth. See, one of the things I've been hearing is that the guy that Burke ran out of chits and people to give up. That's what my trafficking, my rumor and innuendo. Now, I'm not shading Burke at all. But what I'm going to say, y'all, is right now, the Latino caucus got a real issue. But not only does the Latino caucus got a real issue, because, they used to meet a lot. They meet a lot. And, I bet right now somebody is saying to themselves, damn, what did we talk about in the meetings? And why did we meet so many times?
They would meet after every city council meeting.
Yeah.
The Black Caucus, they don't do that. The other caucuses did that when I was around.
Man, I'm here to tell you. There's going to be some... I wish I could be a fly on the wall today at City Council. Now, I hope everybody ain't mad at me because I'm just talking about what's in the paper. I didn't make this up. That's y'all guy that did that. But now the challenge becomes who gets to make the best deal. Right? Because when the feds come for you, they say, what you got?
Right.
And so now you think about all those phone calls. All of those phone calls. And you say, what did I say? What did I ask for? And now you thinking, even if I didn't do nothing bad, but maybe I misinterpreted. Wait. You know we about to get a whoopee back. Hold on. Let me explain.
Right.
Now, let me tell you that the Latinos have been through this before. And some people went to jail and some people didn't. Remember when HDO went down?
Yeah.
Seemed like some of the leadership went to jail and some of the leadership didn't.
No, you're right. There was some people who were worried, but nothing ever came up.
And they didn't go to jail. Look, y'all. I think it's getting ready to be some problems. But speaking of problems, Todd, did you see the story in the Chicago Tribune about Madam Toni Preckwinkle hiring Ed Burke's son after he was being terminated allegedly for sexual misconduct? Investigated. Well, you know about them investigations. And so let me tell you, he said he had tapes, videos on Tom Dart, said he was going to run for sheriff. Remember I told you about him talking about remember I said Burke said keep a file?
Right.
Then, who is Burke's top lobbyist? Tim Dart gets a job in the county after sexual harassment. Didn't Toni Preckwinkle just tell us that she didn't know nothing about her chief of staff? man, I think she protects a culture of sexual harassment. Women aren't safe with Toni Preckwinkle. We'll have to talk about it when we come back.
Holy moly! I'm gonna go home and start writing something. I'm gonna do a podcast of that for sure. This is too interesting. Now I got something nice to talk about. This will fill up 50 minutes. Yeah. Man.
Did you read the story?
I
About the Tribune story?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to let you kind of talk a little bit about it, and then I'll do the color on it.
All right. Yeah.
She just a bossy boss that just don't know how to boss. I always say you spend all them years fighting the machine. And you know what somebody reminded me of?
Become the machine.
But somebody reminded me of how strongly your father supported her.
Oh yeah, he was totally pissed at Tim Evans for running against Gene Sawyer and not having a black mayor. At the next election, he was like, well, I'm getting him. so he put all his backing behind her.
And look at that, and she forgot all that, huh?
Oh, you know, time, memories fall out your head.
All right.
Yeah, shoot.
Hey, can I get the calls up, please?
Yeah, it was tough.
I want my calls up. I want my calls up. The phone lines are lit up.
Terrible boss. She's a boss of bosses right now.
This is ridiculous, man. So we got all these people on the phone.
Oh, your screen signed up?
My screen's up, yours not?
That doesn't matter.
Todd!
I don't need that.
Can you get Todd his screen? Well, I'll talk to you. Never mind. Can you help Todd? Can Todd get a screen, man?
Todd. Alright, a little trivia. The only reason that song did not win the Oscar was because it had been used in a movie the year before. And it had been nominated, and then they found out that it had been in another movie, and according to the rules, it can only be used once.
Who do you people will? Who you people will taking pill? Pictures.
Yeah. That's not a surveyor.
Hey man, I need y'all to come on with it.
WVON lineup, chat room, blogs, photos, podcasts, and more on the World Wide Web at WVON.com.
Okay. Eddie, are you okay? Are you doing the dance? You gotta do it like this. Wait, feel like...
Okay, Eddie. Oh, there you go.
Woohoo!
Eddie.
Are you okay?
Now
Eddie, are you
it's
okay?
funny
Are you okay, Eddie? Eddie, are you okay? Eddie, are you okay? Are you okay, Eddie? Eddie, are you okay? Eddie, are you okay? Are you okay, Eddie? You've been hit by a smooth criminal. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. Eddie, are you okay? Eddie, are you okay? Speaking of Eddie, are you okay? Did you see the Todd? Did you see that story in the Chicago Tribune front page, top above the fold, about Tony Preckwinkle and another Ed Burke connect? Can you break down that story? What it says basically happened?
There's actually two stories about the same situation.
Well, break them down.
Where Ed Burke's son worked for the sheriff's office.
Tom Dart.
He left the office under an investigation about, I guess you call it sexual misconduct, saying things that would make ladies feel uncomfortable. And he was promptly hired by Tony Preckwinkle's office for Homeland Security. There was some questions asked about it by the newspapers to her office. She says he's well qualified, it's an exempt position.
Now, wait, back up. Exempt position, what does that mean?
An exempt position means that the person who will get this position is following the policies of the executive, so that's why she can just hire him, because it's pretty much him being her arm in a sense.
So
it's
what
political type.
It's a exempt position means that there are no rules. The elected official can pick them with no oversight. Go ahead.
Almost. Because, if you
well, let's keep going.
Get too close, they like, no, you broke a law.
Right.
But pretty much, yeah, you can just hire him for political purposes. Mays asked me to hire somebody because Mays supports me as a politician, and I hired him. So he was hired in this position, and it's now become a story because, as we know, everything about Ed Burke's a story now. And his son has said that he did no real wrong things, and that the dark thing. Well, there was also a part where he was saying that he was going to run against the sheriff, and he had a lot of money.
Well, so he said he had a lot of money. He was going to run against the sheriff. He had a lot of money, but not only did he have a lot of money, he said he had videos of the sheriff. Now, there's some real weird rumors about some of the sheriff's proclivities, or so I've heard, trafficking again in rumor and innuendo. But this guy was accused of sexual harassment. A lot of times when you're in trouble in the city, before they fire you, right? What they do is they'll transfer you to some other department and then move you around. So, now let's be clear, the sheriff, that Ed Burke has very strong ties to the sheriff's department long term, but additionally, one of his top lobbyists is the sheriff's brother, not Tom Dart, but Tim Dart. And Tim Dart is probably one of the most powerful lobbyists in the city of Chicago. So when you see Ed Burke, I just want to draw a comparison. When you see Ed Burke go to Tony Preckwinkle, who traditionally they wouldn't have been friends, according to her, right? Why then, if she was cool with Ann Burke, not Ed Burke, does he then have a fundraiser that mysteriously coincides? Now, I'm going to break this down because remember, you all thought that it was a $4,400 discrepancy in the fundraising. Well, now we see that there was $116,000 raised for this fundraiser at Ed Burke's house, right?
Right.
How much was the job that Ed Burke's son got? $110,000. So, now, Mays Jackson, as an operative, would see that as a trade. As in, I gave you a government job in exchange for a political contribution. Now, that's how I see it.
Well, that goes down to the Shackman exempt position, where you can give someone a job for their support for you as a political thing.
And so what I then say is, but how does that play in the face of our reformer, Tony Preckwinkle? Right? Like, here's the person that ran you out of office over penny sales tax. I'm a reformer. I'm going to take good care of you. So yesterday, what do we have yesterday's video? Can I hear about yesterday and what happened with Christian Mitchell and I? First of all, give me my babies and then play the other. You got Marie? Because you can play them in reverse. So why don't you play what we heard her talking about yesterday in the car, the progressive.
thought she was the deciding vote. She didn't. There was a word that she was supporting, and she didn't do it. Okay, but she was 55 and and actually, she made two things. She promised Deb that she'd support her for president, and she promised Marcelino she'd support him for vice. She didn't do either. And Leslie talked to her, Pat talked to her, Jan Tchaikovsky talked to her, Dick Durbin talked to her. Wow. What did they promise?
So, again, our reformer boss, our reformer, is she really a reformer? And now we see that these tentacles...
Well, you know what makes me upset?
What?
Is the whole process they're talking about, it was all about, we're removing all the black people from power positions.
Do you understand that? Did y'all understand that? Did y'all catch that yesterday? Because I think that one of the things, people are saying, why isn't this a mainstream media story? Because why does the mainstream media care about keeping black people in power?
Bro,
right? That's not their story.
No.
Their angle is not to protect us. That's why we got this thing going on. But I need for you all to understand right now, we're about to, and then this is the other part. I'm going to tell y'all that all of our top elite black people are betting heavy on Tony as we continue to have all of these things continue to come out. Now, I'm going to tell you, you might limp into the runoff. But with all of the stuff that has been laid out thus far, right now, you got her protecting, hiring Ed Burke's son, who they knew in advance was having charges of sexual harassment. So when she tells you that she didn't know about John Keller,
right,
her chief of staff, what do you believe?
Well, we already found out that she knew months before.
She knew months before. So guys, who's protecting the predators? Who's protecting the black people? The boss. But the boss ain't protecting the black folks.
Who watches the watching?
Hey y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all. And to all the big Preckwinkle supporters, I just want y'all to be clear about what happens in a runoff with all of this hanging out. Because this is just laying out here with 14 candidates in the race.
I'd hate to have Mays Jackson being my media person if I was
not media, because I wouldn't use this as a platform. But a consultant.
On the other side, and you would be the one putting together, this is what we should be doing.
Oh, and let me tell you, I would be pretty effective at it. If I had the money, I'd be pretty effective at it, because she is giving you layup after layup after layup. And I'm saying people need to start thinking about, not just now, because so many of even our smartest political Afrostocracy are short-term thinkers. They always bet on the house, but the house is burning. They bet on the house because it's safe, but the house is burning, y'all. And when somebody decides they're gonna focus on that, she gonna blow it up. It's the Talk Chicago 1690. When we come back, we're gonna talk about health, nutrition, and black kids.
The Talk of Chicago.
Yeah, you're right.
Think about this. The establishment ran to Tony Preckwinkle when they fear it. They like it. But imagine this. Imagine Tony Preckwinkle versus Susanna Mendoza. Both of them are going to fall down, though, because of this Burke stuff, because it's going to be worse.
Yeah, it can only get worse.
Imagine somebody with $5 million to be able to take every Tony story that we've heard. She's a liar. She protected women after sex. She conspired against Imagine somebody very well resourced that's like, we finna hit you on all of this. Her reformer credentials are gone.
Yeah.
Gone. Imagine somebody putting $1 million behind this. Imagine somebody taking $100,000 and just and doing a spot off of the NTA piece with her talking about they were going to trade. What is the difference between that and Rod Blagojevich with the CTU piece? With, I want you to tell, Pat wants me to get, now she didn't say she did it, but neither did Blagojevich. But Pat wanted to trade a state representative position to get someone out of her race. Understand that. You call it political horse trading when it's people you like, but when it's not, it's a 14-year sentence.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
When you hear her laugh about what they did with the Robert Peters thing, like everybody in that area should just be offended. When you say that, you, like literally, like that was crazy.
If they did not like Tony Preckwinkle, this story would be written by Eric Zorn, Carol Marine. They would all have some kind of a twist that would tell you how she was being a big boss and screwing somebody.
Yep.
But she's a, she's a favorite child, so she gets away with what she wants to at this point. But you're right, somebody is going to have.
Kay Winding, let me tell you. I'm going to tell you what y'all seeing right now. Y'all are seeing gangster moves at such a high level that you don't even get it. And I'm going to tell you, these dudes playing for all the marbles. And I really don't think that Tony Preckwinkle really understands some of the people that's in this thing and what they playing for and what they got capability-wise. Like, I think if you thought you was... This is what I say. Y'all get mad at me if y'all want to. But if a mug had the nuclear codes to the whole country, y'all think y'all are watching gangsterism and you are now watching it kick into full freaking gear. Right now. That's what you're watching. On the same day that, who are the two top people in this shit? And think about how this Ed Burke thing and Solis thing plays out with Susanna, who's on her way to go have a fundraiser with Patty Doyle. Patty Doyle Solis. Now you gotta ask, what is she doing to get money now? What is Patty Solis doing? She ain't working in government. So now whatever company she's working with, that's under investigation. So now, if you know that 10 Latinos are going to be getting indicted, or the number is right around 10, and I told y'all yesterday I got good sources, so those of you that are watching, y'all better be paying attention, and y'all know y'all boy is a snitch. You know he a snitch. Just ask Al, but I'll let that be. Bro, when the feds come a knocking, yo, and this is like Chewy's ultimate revenge. Ultimate revenge.
Hey, now you said that, this probably does help expand Chewy's power base as Danny goes down, because there's a power void. Somebody has to fill it.
And Danny was already on his way down. And remember, Danny did Uno, which was part of the cabal. So let me tell you who's on that list. All the old HDO people finna get it. All of them. I'm gonna tell you. This is the christening. Right? This is the christening scene in The Godfather. And I'm telling you that, and Madigan and all of them have given, they done sided with Chewy. You've seen it already.
Yeah.
To protect theirs. So now, hey man, he transactional. They trying to survive.
Right.
They've moved from, they was with the HDOers, now they back with Chewy and them. So now they back with Chewy and them because they ain't Irish. So we don't care which one of them we work with. Y'all pick who the boss is, right, and we'll work with whoever is. Well, let me tell you who about to get exterminated. Bro, come on, man. Like, I told all my friends, I wouldn't have the roast, man, you know it's personal, but man, because I've seen the people that meet in that place, right? And because Vic is like one of their chiefs, Joe, and the last time they came to one of their chiefs, a lot of people went to jail, but some people didn't. Some people didn't. And my bet is that they guy made a deal with the green team to protect himself and his little crew. but everybody else is getting jettisoned. Mark my words. You mark my words.
You see that happen?
Because I believe that this is a move that's bigger than anybody really even realized. And this is clearing a path of all the old enemies. Some of the new guys get to come back in the tent. I would be looking at every contribution to the Latino leadership pack. I probably would be looking at all the contributions. Man, bro, and the way they doing this, right, because he gonna trick. Antoine, you right, because he gonna trick. He gonna trick. Did it before. So I'm just telling y'all got to be careful. This thing is going to be far-reaching. I think one of the best parts of this is that I don't think, because black folks ain't really, this might be one of the best times for black folks to not really have nothing, because there ain't going to be nobody there.
Right. Yeah, they can't get anybody who ain't got nothing.
Nurse practitioner for who? Hold on. I got it.
Rise and shine with the WVON Morning Show.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Featuring Maze Jackson.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
The WVON Morning Show. Call 773-591-1690. Wake up! Call the website. Check it out. Before you ever has hurt me.
Yeah. Boom. Doom. I've been doing my own thing. Love is only where the way of having bad timing. Just looked in your eyes. I have one question for. Tell me what you want me to. If you want my time, I wanna make it good for you. Girl, you blow my mind. Girl, that I'll be true. Oh, the perfect one. So tell me if you want me to. Yeah. If you go to sleep on this, Lord, you know, 'cause all I dream about is our first kiss. And you got first one to make me feel like this. 'Cause this is one opportunity that I can't miss. No. We're wondering if the words I'm saying are for real. 'Cause you got more appeal than any girl in this whole world. And baby, I got to know how you feel. Yeah. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting in with me is former Cook County Board President Ty Stroger. Gotta say what's up to the WVON Morning Show team. What's up to Annette Flournoy, as well as Miss Sonia Escobar, the musical conductor of the Soul Plane. Y'all, that is the Next Level Morning Music Choice, brought to you by Next Level Health. Next Level Health, do you know they imply passionate and inspiring individuals and the latest technology to fulfill their mission? That's right. Call Next Level Health at 844-807-9734 or visit the website, nextlevelhealthillinois.com, for more information. Also follow us on social media, Next Level Illinois. Hey, y'all, it's the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson, and you know what? Be on the lookout, because I may go a little live today, a little bit later on, to really break down this Ed Burke. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to sneak in the city council. Also, do not miss me Friday on Windy City Live. I'll be taping tomorrow, but I'll be on Windy City Live on Friday. Also, have you gotten your tickets to the Mays Jackson Staycation? Go to Eventbrite, Mays Jackson Staycation, $275 per person, all inclusive, all weekend. That's your parties, that's your room, that's your stay. Plus, don't be surprised, there's a couple bottles and a few other things that'll be going on. Do not miss it. Eventbrite, $275, Super Bowl, not Super Bowl, Big Game Weekend. Big Game Weekend, Big Game Weekend. In Big Game Weekend, oftentimes, you know what? I don't do a lot of snacks anymore. I don't do a lot of chips and pop and junk. But the big game is one of the times that I really go all out, and I feel like, I make my ghetto mix, right? I get me some dang nabbit, now I can't even think of it. I go get me some hot chips. I mix a little hot popcorn, spicy. I get me some Flaming Hots.
Oh, Flaming Hots.
Right, I go get me some Flaming Hots. Man, back in the day, I used to get the hot stuffed potato chips, but they done punked them out. And then I mix it all up and I eat. And then I go to the store. I buy every bit of junk food I could think of. Well, and I don't know where these cravings come from. Well, y'all, it seems like it's something that started a long time ago. I remember waking up watching cartoons and commercials and be like, "Oh, mama, I got to get me some sugar pops." Then I'd be like, "Oh, mom, did you see the commercial for Frosted Flakes? They're great." Man, and I remember when all the, when all the candy and all the popcorn. Man, do you remember the Reggie bar? I remember the Reggie. Man, the Reggie had a commercial. And I'd be like, boy, well, apparently, this is not a coincidence. It's been going on for years. But apparently, did you know that most food ads with unhealthy food target black kids? Here to talk to us about that is Daphne Sharp. Daphne Sharp is a nurse practitioner and specialist in North Carolina with over 14 years of experience in research studying obesity in children. Welcome to the morning show, Daphne. How are you today?
Wonderful, wonderful. Glad to be here with you all.
Well, Daphne, we're glad to have you. Welcome to the morning show. Now, Daphne, what's going on? Oh, what's going on with these companies trying to get are they trying to fatten our kids up?
Well, I think you've already stated it's been going on for a very long time, and it's about the money. And so don't provide nutritious food in certain areas and then leave them with only the options of a lot of the unhealthy foods like you've already mentioned, and the fast food restaurants and the junk food that you can get easily at little corner stores, but not a lot of big options at a healthy grocery store, a full-serving grocery store. Yeah.
Now, Daphne, that seems weird because in my neighborhood, it seems like everywhere I go, now I do live in kind of a gentrified neighborhood, but it seems like everything is a healthy choice. Like, even if I want to eat something junk food, I can't seem to find it. But then when I go to the hood, I can go to the corner store, man, they got hot Fritos with beef. It's like dinner that you can buy out of the corner store. Tell me about, why do you think these companies do this? Why do they market these unhealthy products specifically to Black and Latino kids? We'll talk about the Black kids, though.
Well, the why could be a very long answer.
Is it racial? You scared? Don't be scared.
It is not a care. I'll put it that way. There's not a care and concern for those who are already disadvantaged and already disenfranchised. And every category of disenfranchisement that exists is there. And the nutritional part is just another arm of the disenfranchisement that exists in the hood, like you said.
Daphne, my friend had a restaurant inside of Walmart, and he was selling, he was trying to sell, like, grilled chicken, and it was supposed to be a healthy food type of restaurant. And he said that people would come in and they say, I'd like to get that chicken, but could you drop it into some grease? Do you think that that's because we've been conditioned to feel that that's the way we have to cook our food?
Oh, well, of course. I'm here in North Carolina, and so Southern cooking and soul cooking is very much part of what we've grown up with. And food tastes good when you put a lot more butter in it and some grease and some
It sure
salt.
does.
And, if we go way, way back, you got to think about what options we had way back when we were owned by people. We had the worst of the food that we tried to make the best out of.
Right.
And then it became part of our culture. And so it's very much a part of our culture. I agree 100% with that.
I was just gonna say, cause have y'all tasted fried chicken? And with Lowry's on it. So let me ask you a question because I gotta get out of here, and I want to follow up on this. Tell me, what do we do? Because I was thinking about when you were mentioning soul food and the things that we look at as like we look forward to on the weekends. How do we update our food choices and still have that love in the food, so to say, that we get when we make soul food? What are our healthy options that we can still taste good?
What we try to encourage is to just add in things that can still give you the flavor, but instead of just salt and butter, consider a lot of the spices, different spice options, things that you can grow actually, not things that are just out of your financial reach. You can get your little box garden and grow an enormous amount of things right in your home, in your apartment, right where you are, and use those different spaces to try to still give your food that additional flavors instead of it only being pork options. If you actually have the means to buy meat to season your vegetables like we do, some fat back and some, ham hocks and things like that. That go with some collard greens, we love it. But, maybe consider a leaner turkey or something like that. They can still definitely give you the flavor, but reduce a lot of those other parts because we will start getting addicted. Sugars and fats have the same type of addictive qualities to them that caffeine and nicotine does. And so, again, because it becomes part of our culture, our brain is also telling us, I want some sugar, I want some fat, I want some salt. So they have that addictive quality, yes.
As a matter of fact, lately I'm like, you know what? I'm going to drive through McDonald's to get a large Coke. And that's just been popping up in my head all the time.
That's them commercials, man. Hey, so Daphne, and because we really do have to get out of here. Real quick, what can we do to inspire our children to try new and more healthy foods and still have some fun?
Well, that's parents. Once the parents take charge, so to speak, give them options, let them see new options, have regular meal times together if work schedules and life allows it, and reduce buying those things in the bags and the boxes and having them in the home, and then have those other options there in the home and eat it with them and let them see you eating it and make it fun and those are some of the easier things, and don't use food as a form of reward or punishment for kids. Some of those are some of the very easier things you can do to try to change that thinking and the dynamics with food with our kids.
Thank you. That WVON family, that is Daphne K. Sharp. She's a nurse practitioner specialist in the North Kakalaka. North Cat. And look, I'm going to tell you what, Daphne, when we come down there, I'm going to have to check out your cookbook because I want to eat healthy, but sometimes, man, that chicken sure tastes better than some grease than baked. But I want to tell you all we got to do better for our kids. We must help them eat healthy. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say it when she wouldn't say it. This is another form of racism. This is disenfranchising our... I know you got to do the safe thing, but I'm the radio show host. And I'm going to tell it like it is. And when we ask the question, what's in it for the black people, one of the things that we need to start asking is about our healthy food choices. What are we putting into our bodies? Because we talk about them being temples. But can I tell you how many people I see limping around here with their sugar up, diabetes, and all that good stuff? Talking about, but it's so good. We want to live longer and live healthier lives. Daphne, thank you for being with us. Hey, y'all, it's the WVON Morning Show. I am your host, Maze Jackson. We only got a few more minutes. We got to wrap this thing up. Todd, it's Wednesday, so you know we got the Urban Business Roundtable download. Hey, man.
Yeah, I don't know why I whispered this Wednesday like
It's like black people, because I always say that black people, when they come in a room full of white people, they say black people, or they say black people. Man, why you got to whisper?
Right.
Hey, it's the WVON Morning Show. Todd, what do you expect on the fallout from this? I think at least I'm going to do is watch City Council online.
Yeah. Well, as you well know, most of the real discussion is behind the chambers.
I bet you ain't nobody gonna be in the chambers, because all the press is gonna be sitting in the chambers waiting to get a quote.
Oh, I think there's gonna be little groups,
The progressive, you know who's gonna be back there? The progressive caucus back there snitching. They're gonna be, I told you, I told you so. Oh yeah. Now let me tell y'all what, and also, I just want to be clear. I really think that this Ed Burke thing is going to take a lot of people down more than you know. But I'm going to tell you who's taking the biggest beating. And I think what we've seen this week, and I'm going to bring that tape back tomorrow, because we don't talk about that tape. Because, again, I'm trying to understand who is really looking out for black people. If the black boss is in cahoots with the white folks to disenfranchise the black people, who really got our back?
Right.
Who really has our back? All right. So for Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, Miss Sonia Escobar, the musical conductor of the Soul Plane. Did I tell y'all what the song of the day, what today's morning music choice was? It was "Tell Me" by Groove Theory. You know, I love me some Emile LaRue. That was the truth. What did the Bryce dude do? I don't even know what he did. He just hit the drum. Like,
everybody got a job.
All right, tambourine, play the tambourine. Shout out to my man Ty Stroge. I hope y'all also go to my Facebook page. Check out the interview with Carrie Mays, Shamari, and Ronnie DeVoe. And if you don't like it, let me tell y'all what y'all could do. Keep listening to this station and still tell them, Mays said, we out of here. Peace.
Live from the WVON newsroom, here's our news now.
You got anything you want to say to the people's Todd?
No, just that there's going to be a lot of people saying, man, I can't believe this is going on. I can't believe Danny would do that. That's what I think is going to happen.
I'm going to tell you what I believe. So here's the funniest part to me of all of this, is that nobody was shocked at what Ed Burke was doing. They just shocked he got caught. Nobody is like, oh my God. They like, I can't believe he got caught.
Yeah.
I can't believe he got caught. And I'm going to tell you, Ed Burke has cultivated a sense of omnipotence in city council that let me tell you, won't nobody speak on that stuff until they bang the gavel. And they still scared because you heard his son say in that article, they got pictures. Now, what do they do with those pictures? And why would you mention that if you didn't have a plan to use them or have not used them before? And so what you saw in that stuff was the arrogance of how the white boys just be cavalier. They be saying whatever because you can't do nothing to me.
Yeah, pretty much.
They be like, what you gonna do? Yeah, Beverly is shaking and quaking right now. I think the good boy image of our sheriff is getting ready to be tarnished. Because I think they're gonna start asking about, I think you're gonna see the web of ties that even though one guy plays I'm gonna be the good brother, I'll be the messenger. Y'all?
I don't know, even though people threaten you and say I got this and that, the proof's in the pudding.
I always think like this. I think in most cases, I think Ed Burke has been a master manipulator in using it. So I know some people on the green team who was like, part of the reason that he always kept such a close relationship with the police department is because he had a great relationship with the vice department. Right? So now if I got vice and I catch you coming out your girlfriend's house, if I catch you coming out of your boyfriend's house, if I catch you coming out of, right, gambling, whatever your vice was, whatever your weakness was, they came to you with it.
Right.
presented it to you, and then you like, man, I don't even want no smoke. It ain't even no problems. It's all good. Yeah, man. Then they got the judges up the wire. Hey, y'all. Y'all